Are MXGP stars set to take over the US Supercross series in the future? Welcome back to Vital MX. I'm your host, Michael Lindsay, and as always, any of our news break or rumor mill features are brought to you by our fine friends at Yoshimura R&D of America. Check them out at yoshimura-rd.com. If you were paying attention since the Motocross of Nations after they passed, you may have heard that the defending 2024 MX2 World Champ, or current reigning champ, I should say, Kaido Wolf will be coming to America for a little bit of a Supercross winter holiday. This comes on the back of multiple MXGP and MX2 riders either expressing interest or currently in the middle of getting contracts done to come to America. So who the heck is coming to the USA over the course of the next couple years? Let's start with Jorge Prado, the former Red Bull Gas factory racing rider, did come over in the winter of 2023 into 2024 to test and practice Supercross and ultimately ended up racing the first couple rounds of the Monster Energy AMA Supercross series, which he did to fairly solid success for somebody that had to jump straight into the 450 class. However, this was not Prado's first excursion to the US, as he actually came to the USA back when he was 14 years old and tested for about 6 weeks with, at the time, the Red Bull Troy Lee Designs factory KTM squad. Originally at that time, and from everything that Prado had said, his goal was to come to the US early. At that point, he was about to turn 15, be able to turn pro into the MX2 class in Europe, and was going to race the series for just a couple years, hopefully win a title, and move to the US. And even at 14, he was very impressive on Supercross. Well, things happen, time goes on. Prado stuck it out. He ended up winning 2 MX2 World Championships, and then further up followed it with 2 MXGP titles, and has finally decided to make his move. Now, again, why is he making his move directly into the 450 class? Well, there is a rule. If you win an MXGP World Championship, you cannot race a 250 in the US in regional Supercross. You can in outdoors, but not Supercross. So Prado is straight to the 450 class. After making an impressive debut over those first couple rounds earlier this season, he immediately landed an offer from the Monster Energy Kawasaki squad and is coming here for 2025, 2026, 2027, and an option for 2028. Prado has said farewell to his MXGP career after winning the title back-to-back 2 times, and he will be at A1 2025. Will there be anybody joining him new at A1 in 2025? Possibly, possibly not. The next person to speak about is Husqvarna's Kaido Wolf. Kai is now here for the same winter excursion to take a couple weeks to test Supercross, feel out, and think about his future decision. As of right now, himself and the organization themselves have commented that it is just a test and there is no intention of racing the early rounds of the season. However, that's the same thing that was said about Prado last year. We do think it is less likely with DeWolf, but never count out that you could race the first couple rounds. However, his intentions at the moment are to defend his MX2 World Championship in 2025. He is contracted to race in Europe for Husqvarna for 1 more year. Now, however, at the end of 2025, he becomes a free agent. If he does want to make the move to the US, yes, the KTM group is an option, albeit we'll get to in a minute why they are already quite full with other European stars that want to move over. It's been long rumored that Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Mitch Payne is very interested in DeWolf and has reached out to him on multiple occasions about his interest in the US series. So if DeWolf does come in 2026, might not be on a Husky, might not be on a KTM, could be on a Kawasaki, or DeWolf could take on the challenge of the MXGP class and stay put. So for now, Prado confirmed. DeWolf, it's a strong, or maybe we should call it a decent maybe. Now, what's beyond a strong maybe is the Coenen brothers. Luca and Sasha Coenen have long made it known that they want to come to the US and race. The 2 twins have impressed in MX2, particularly Luca, so much so that at 17 years old, Luca has decided to forego MX2 racing in 2025 and actually jump up to the MXGP class. Sasha and Luca are reuniting under the new or reformed Red Bull KTM Decarli factory racing squad. Decarli Racing ran the Gas program last couple years, and before that they ran KTM's MXGP program with Antonio Caroli. They had Sasha and Luca split between the actual in-house Red Bull KTM program and the Belgium-based Nissan Husqvarna team before. Now they are combined forces at Decarli for probably 1 more year. In official interviews, they make it seem like, yes, 2026 US is a goal, but it might not be the only route. They may defer another year. However, sources on the US side, particularly people that deal with their management, has said, no, it seems pretty locked in at this point that we will see the brothers in 2026. Again, though, when you look at Prado's path, initially having a goal to be here and deferring it, again, we're in a strong maybe case. We lean towards we will see both the Coenens over here in the US with Red Bull KTM in 2026, but it could always get pushed to 2027 depending on form, results, injuries, and just other overall interests of those riders learning and growing before making the move. But the Coenens will be in the US at some point. Just maybe a question if it's 12 months or 24 months from now. Another rider, though, we may see as early as the 2025 season is Triumph MX2 factory racer Mael Harrop. Harrop's in a tough spot, similar to how Joey Savacci was in the US with Triumph. He initially signed with the team thinking that he would be their first 450 rider come the 2025 season. That's because Harrop has aged out of MX2 in the MXGP series. MX2 has a under 23 rule. Harrop is sadly too old for that class now, and because Triumph has deferred on racing their 450 in MXGP until 2026, there's not currently a home for Mael. He is currently here in the US trying out with multiple teams. He is looking at Club MX. He's talking to Triumph about maybe doing something in the US with them. He's talking to the HEP Suzuki team, which we covered in our 450 rumor mill feature. And there's even whispers about a potential Star Racing tryout. So again, if he lands one of those 250 spots, that's going to include Supercross particularly. Maybe we see Harrop in the 25 Supercross series. And if you didn't watch Destinations, then you missed out. Harrop was pretty damn impressive at that race. He's had a very solid season with debuting the Triumph TF 250X in the MX2 class alongside Camden McClellan, but particularly at Destinations, he really showed his worth and star power. For now, that kind of seems to be the main group that is looking at it for the immediate future. Again, Harrop's in a position where MXGP rides have sort of dried up for him, needs to make the move to the US. Prado has made his move. The Coenens are getting ready to make their move, and DeWolf has a very tough decision ahead of him. What about the wave beyond that? Any other riders? There was talk for years that Thibaut Benestant might come, albeit he has been on a down form for a year or two now. We don't see that being an immediate move or possible in the future. Whispers that Simone Laffengeiner might be interested down the road. Again, tough for him, though, being part of the overall KTM group and so many of their riders wanting to make a move to the US. That could close that door. We also haven't heard Simone really pushing for it. But one rider that has notably mentioned it, but would be a future prospect, is the current EMX 250 champion, Mathias Vallon? I apologize. I don't know how to pronounce it. Current French rider, moving over from the EMX 250 into MX2 next year with the newly formed KRT Factory Kawasaki MX2 squad, the first factory Kawi 250 effort in a long time. Vallon will head that up as their sole rider. He has already made it known that US would be a goal of his down the road. He's young, just moving to MX2, does a couple years there. Maybe he ends up being a prospect for Pro Circuit down the road or for another team. But again, Vallon could follow in the footsteps of quite a legendary group of French riders such as Michel Bale, David Villemin, Kel Pichon, almost forgot that one right there, Dylan Ferrandis, and other great French riders that have made their move to the US and been successful. For now, that's our little bit of our rumor mill or recap of what is going on with MX2 and MXGP stars looking at the US for their future. If you have any thoughts, throw them in the comments section below. If there's any other riders from the GP scene that you would like to see make their run at the US, also throw those in the comments section below. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe.